Welcome back to MurrayMax. We have another video from Charlie Kirk and his Cambridge visit, and this has kind of been fun to watch. Different kind of venue than his campus tours, but this one is actually going to be not against a student but a professor at Cambridge. And as usual, I haven't watched it before. We're going to watch it together. So just real quick, if you want to, throw your comments up here and let me know what you think of this debate or what you think during it, and I'll throw in some remarks as well, and then I'll keep pumping out some videos. So give it a like, subscribe if you want to, share the video if you want to, and if you're a troll, thank you. I couldn't have done this without you.
Marvellous. Thank you. A very, very short question. Israel versus Hamas. Good guy versus bad guy. Russia versus Ukraine. Who's the good guy and who's the bad guy?
Both are bad, one is worse.
Which way round?
Russia is worse than Ukraine.
Okay, so why haven't we pursued that?
What do you mean?
Well, it seems to me that in the whole of the current US proposition, that Ukraine is being the bad guy.
Ukraine's not being labeled the bad guy. Ukraine's being someone labeled as someone who doesn't need all of our money to be able to accomplish anything, while all these other European and NATO countries kind of give pennies on the dollar compared to us.
In what way? We funded Ukraine upwards to $200 billion.
Absolutely. But
We just signed a mineral deal with Ukraine, not Russia.
yeah, but you are expecting Ukraine to give up 20% of its territory to someone who invaded it.
Well, is Crimea part of Russia or Ukraine?
Ukraine.
That's where we don't agree.
Well, I'm afraid that's part of international treaty. That's not up for grabs.
Well, it's interesting. I mean,
That's
hold on. I mean, even Zelensky has said he's willing to give up Ukraine.
no. America signed the agreement that gave Ukraine Crimea.
Right.
When the Soviet Union ended.
Right. It was done. First of all, it never should have been done. It was largely ceremonial.
No.
But however, it was annexed under Obama. Yes, and it was a mistake. And it should be given back to Russia as a sign of good gesture to end this conflict. Okay. Who's currently controlling Crimea? Where was the Russian Navy headquartered in World War II? Where was the end of World War II signed? This is very important.
I'm not doubting that. I'm just saying that if we're being logical on what has happened, that you're now arguing against that flow. And I don't understand it. Because actually, why is Ukraine the bad guy?
No, I said they're bad. They're not the bad guy.
Yeah, well, you said they were both bad, but one was more bad.
Correct, yes.
So why is Ukraine bad?
Well, there's a lot wrong with Ukraine.
Why is the country that has suspended elections, that's rampant with corruption, that's persecuting Christians, that's had crimes committed against its own people for decades? Oh, I don't know. Take one of the picks. All the things they accuse Vladimir Putin of doing, Ukraine has already done and still does.
We're not a democracy. Zelensky refuses to hold an election.
Well, no, he can't hold an election.
Oh, wait, did Churchill hold an election during the war?
Because under his constitution...
Hold on, Lincoln held an election during the war. That's not true. He can call an election. He can call a snap election. He's full dictator of the country.
No.
Because he knows that the people of Ukraine would kick him out immediately because he's deeply unpopular. In fact, if he wanted to show a statement to the world, he would call an election and win by 80% and say, see, I'm super popular. So that's number one. I have a problem with that. I have a problem with a person being propped up as a government we're sending $200 billion to that refuses even to face his voters.
Okay, I can't agree with you factually on that at all.
Okay.
I mean, constitutionally, Ukraine is not able to hold an election because it's under military law at the moment, and that's just a matter of fact.
Again, he can, as a prime minister or president, he can do whatever he wants.
He can't.
Is that really a standing applause kind of mic drop statement to say, well, he can't hold an election right now because they're in the middle of a war? And it's like, sure you can. And I mean, Winston Churchill did it. Like you said, Abraham Lincoln did it. And also, this war is so unnecessary that if you really wanted to do something for the people, you would try everything you could to end the war. He's not trying to end the war. He's trying to get more money. He's trying to keep it going. And on top of that, let's say that it was just a standard and the precedent had been set that you cannot do an election during a war. It doesn't change the fact that he's also basically banished multiple political parties so that when it comes time for an election, they don't even exist anymore. He's taken his competitors out one by one by one.
Okay, all right, we're going to just go back and forth.
He can't sign an executive order and change their constitution. Okay. Neither can the American president either. So hopefully there's a bit of...
He could even do a ceremonial election to see where he actually stands with the people.
I think we call those opinion polls.
Yes, and they're very negative.
Firmly ahead in the opinion
Again, but you would agree that a person that holds on to power without the election of the sovereign is pretty questionable.
No, not in those circumstances.
Okay, then we disagree.
No, okay, that's fine. But give me another reason why you...
They are the most corrupt country in Europe that never even met the most remote standards of joining NATO. Do not know where a lot of this money is going.
I don't disagree that there is a problem with corruption, but the most corrupt country in Europe, are you sure about that?
I'd have to think, I'd have to double or triple think about that, but they're very corrupt.
Okay, so that's a little bit doubtful. It's not absolute.
Well, I mean,
there's plenty of corruption around. I mean, let's face it, we are talking about comparison with some of the states you're doing business with in the Gulf.
Oh, of course, but we're not giving them money, they're giving us money. That's a difference, right? Saudi Arabia is...
Oh, so it's fine.
Well, hold on a second.
It's morally acceptable to take money from corrupt people.
Well, hold on. First of all...
Are we really going to pretend like funding somebody's missiles and tanks and ammunition for a war that's killing thousands of people is the same as trying to do trade deals with other countries? Are we really going to pretend that now?
As far as morally acceptable, you do what's best in the benefit of your country. And so, for example, we were allied with Russia during the Second World War, and I'm glad we were. And I would ask you,
don't forget,
how much money is too much money to send to Ukraine? We're at $200 billion right now.
I don't think you have to send any more money to Ukraine.
We agree.
I think you have to agree to support them as a free country and perhaps sell them weapons, like you're very happy to sell weapons to less free countries. And I think Europe will pick up the slack, as we ought to. And I don't disagree with some of the comments about Europe not looking after its own security. I just don't get this approach, which was supposedly to end the war quickly, which now seems to be elongating it, and in doing so, throwing up a smokescreen of very variable facts, if they are facts at all, about how things occurred, which actually isn't helping things. And if people can't see that Putin is stalling, I'm just... Really
I agree with you. I think he might be stalling.
And therefore, and I think even your president has acknowledged the fact that he thinks he might be stalling.
That's correct. So we don't have a disagreement there.
No, we don't. No,
we just have a disagreement about the efficacy of tactics. And we don't know. And I'm willing to say we could be wrong.
No. Oh, well...
Of course you could be wrong in life.
Yeah.
I mean,
we could all be wrong. But actually bringing that war to an end consistently actually isn't going very well. And I would just suggest to you that whatever tactics have been used are perhaps not the best. And they are certainly inconsistent with what's going on in the Middle East and how America has been treating parties in the Middle East.
Okay, that's pretty much the end of the video. But like this whole thing is just silly. These guys get up there and they act like, well, what have you done now with this change of president? Now it just seems like it's elongating the war. And it's like, why? Because we're not just dumping billions of dollars into more ammunition for them. What did you see an end in sight after we had given them $200 billion? Did you see an end in sight after the war had already been going on for a long time and there was someone that you were more favorable towards in the White House? It was only getting worse. It wasn't improving at all. And at the same time, then everything with Israel and Pakistan was kicked off. And then everything else was starting to look bad in other parts of the world. The whole India-Pakistan thing started to come about. It's like nothing was getting better. And so if this guy wants to sound like he actually disagrees with the things that are going on, maybe provide a single solution. And just saying, well, maybe if you recognize them as a free state, Zelensky's going to go, okay, now that United States recognize me as free state, I quit the war. Like, that's never going to happen. Never going to happen. Anyways, let me know in the comments what you think, and I'm going to keep pumping out these videos. Like, subscribe, or don't. I watch videos all the time I don't subscribe to, so I can't hate on that. Have a good night.